Good evening. It's great to be here. Jeremy is one of my favourite living poets, and Rimbaud is one of my favourite dead poets, so it promises to be a very good night. It's an honour to introduce them both. I shall start with a translation of a Rimbaud lyric, The Stolen Heart. Jeremy has retitled A Season in Hell as The Black Book. Early titles were Livre Pain, Pagan Book, Livre Negre, Negro Book, so that's what Jeremy is tuning into. I've changed the opening line of this famous poem, Stolen Heart. My black heart slavers at the poop, my heart with its nicotine stains. Now they're squirting their jets of soup, my black heart slavers at the poop, as the ball breaking of the troops has them guffawing on the main. My black heart slavers at the poop, my heart with its nicotine stains. Ichthyphallic and belligerent, their ball breaking has depraved it. The rudders daubed in smutty paint, ichthyphallic and belligerent. Abracadabra-esque waves are sent to cleanse my heart and save it. Ichthyphallic and belligerent, their ball breaking has depraved it. When they have spat out their plugs, O stolen heart, what can we do to please these bacchanalian thugs? When they have spat out their plugs, my stomach will dredge up the glugs as my heart unravels too. When they have spat out their plugs, O stolen heart, what can we do? Thank you. I've known Jeremy for many years, and I believe in a thing called direct transmission. So, you can read Kant, but if you were able to have met Kant, you would get direct transmission. So I've been lucky over the years to get direct transmission from Jeremy. We've often done readings on Blake's birthplace around the corner. So this is just excerpt some ideas about poetry that I've cobbled into a manifesto. And some of those ideas have been helped by hanging out with Jeremy. And also Rimbaud features very largely. It's called Leundeun, Leundeun, and that was Rimbaud's name for London, Leundeun. Notre brick. Notre brick. Brick is actually French for ship. It looks like our brick, like a builder's brick. But it's the French for a brig, ship. Notre brick is like our ship. But it also kind of implies that the city of London is our ship, but also our brick. Poetry is urban shamanism. Urban shamanism is a poetics originating in London that seeks to reconnect poetry with its aboriginal life. Leundeun is the antidote to la Londonisation. Taking its cue from Ivan Chechligov's lament, we are bored in the city, there is no longer any temple of the sun. Urban shamanism has arisen out of the psychographical movement. Psychogeography now brands itself as a brand. 3. Urban shamanism rejects the materialism that was psychogeography's Marxist situationist coping stone. We do not wish to fight materialism with materialism. 4. Prose selves, the poetry is culverted, forming a system of underground rivers. The work is Bohemian. It is aware of the incarnations and reincarnations of Bohemia. Dionysians, Orpheus, Pythagoreans, Sufis, haiku masters, troubadours, Amorians, free-spirit ranters. What is going on is a war between those who believe in poetry and those who don't. Neil Oran. The poet, a magician with insecurity, René Char. Magical knowledge is needed to decipher the environs. Center Point, Bank, Canary Wharf, Temple, as well as such London-based poets as Shakespeare, Blake, Rimbaud, Yeats. What is sought is not hocus pocus, but accidental magic. I studied literature and you can even do comparative literature, but they never tell you about the magic that all of those poets are encoding into their works of poetry. They just don't ever touch it or talk about it, just as if it doesn't exist. Every English department should have a magic department next door, so you can go in and really find out what it means. Urban shamanism is a tradition as ancient as the city itself. The first poems of antiquity to come down to us are city laments. A lament for a nook. City poetry on cuneiform tablets was the first to conserve itself. Though a London concurrence, the formula is applicable in any city. Charles Olson. Polis is this. Poets go beyond the gentility principle by mixing spirituality with scurrility. The bourgeois is wary of either, terrified of both. Misunderstanding mummifies the work for later Egyptologists. Urban shamanism, like surrealism, is an artistism rather than an academicism. It cannot be done in universities, it can only be done on the streets. Poetry needs to rediscover its real, wild, raw, mad emotions, the spirit of the Dark Lady sonnets. The poem is a crime of passion. Urban shamanism, I think Jeremy proves this, is avant-garde mainstream performance in one, e.g. Allen Ginsberg, Amiri Baraka, Anne Sexton. Poetry is not a genre, nor divisible into genres. Poetry is an audio-visual art, not a competitive sport or an academic discipline. And this is a seed that Jeremy planted in me. Post-Larkin, social realism is dull as CCTV. The city is suspended between New Jerusalem and Dis. One of theology's debates is between approfondimento, the metaphysical, and aggiornamento, the quotidian. City poetry needs both. Glossolalia, echolalia, coprolalia, there is no such thing as bad language, only bad usage. Urban shamanism seeks out sacred sites and spaces, turning them into ad hoc shrines. Crossbones Graveyard, William Blake House, just around the corner. Cleopatra's Needle, the Isis Urania Temple, are outdoor theatres par excellence. There's no administration fee. No uniform politics or political uniforms. Nonconformism doesn't conform even to itself. Psychogeography, psychohistory, psychoarchitecture, psychoarchaeology are less about heritage than illumination. Rimbaud's London prose poems, Illumination, juger la profondeur de la ville, to gauge the depth of the city, or literally, to judge the profundity of the city. The London of the 21st century, shrouded in twin shadows of jihad and bankruptcy, should be reflected in the London poetry. The city of assassinations, Blake. Now is the time of the assassins, Rimbaud. The Committee of Urban Shamanism is comprised of Shakespeare's Falcon, Blake's Tiger, Rimbaud's Toad, Yeats's Swan. Poetry is charismatic language. London is etymologically Lud Dun, i.e. the stronghold of Lud, or Lu, a pan-European solar deity celebrated in Lyon, Leyden, Lugano, Lüneburg. Rimbaud's name for London, Lune Dun, unveils the camouflage. The great mind, great memory, symbol of symbols, Lundun is Notre Brick. Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to hearing this adaptation. A Season in Hell is a world classic of literature. Its date, April to August 1873, allows us to remember that Rimbaud and Verlaine lived in Camden from May to July 1873. It's the season is that season of their coming to London, falling out in London, going to Brussels and the shootout. That is the season in hell. Rimbaud's literally describing it. Think of if Theresa May gets in, it'll be 5 years. That's 5 for 20 seasons in hell. Rimbaud's season in hell was one summer. Triffids, it's been one hell of a summer. But I'd like you to I'd like you to welcome my favourite living English poet, Jeremy Reed.
Hello, I'm going to read you some extracts from this book, which is a reinvention of Season in Hell. This is called Bad Blood. From my Gallic genes, I get pale blue eyes, a Lou Reed song, a small brain, and a chronic aversion to war. My clothes are grungy as theirs, only I don't grease my hair like a rocker, like a rocker. The Brittany lot were basic grass farmers inept at skinning their prey. From them, I get a total disrespect for religion. Oh, all the vices, anger, hot sex drive, above all lying and laziness, but it's libido I like. I loathe all work and trades. Foreman and workman, the whole programmed workforce, the beat-up poets worth more than any team on a construction site. So many hands, and I'll never get mine in. I can't stand civility, and likewise, people living on the streets simply annoy me. Criminals disgust me like men without balls. I've got mine, and it's all the same to me. But who has given me such a vicious tongue that up to now it has bad-mouthed and protected my laziness? Without ever working, and idle as a smackhead, I've lived everywhere. There's not a family in Europe I don't know. I mean families like mine, resistant to authority. I've known the whole lot of them, dissidents, terrorists, those on the edge of the edge. If only I had a relative somewhere to care, but no. It's clear to me that I've always belonged to an inferior class. I don't understand organized crime. My race never rebelled except to rob like wolves stripping another animal's skull of its innards. I remember bits of French history. I, a tramp, would have roughed it on foot to the Middle East. My imagination visualizes routes through the devastated plains, snapshots of Byzantium, Jerusalem's shelled ramparts. And I've compassion for Jesus despite obscene mantras scared up in my head. I sit eaten by disease on nettled waste, back to a crumbling wall eroded by sunlight. I can also imagine that as a paid guerrilla, I'd have pitched a tent somewhere under night skies in Germany. And again, I see myself at a rave in a red field, dancing with old women and kids. I don't really remember anything other than this country and its customs. And the past invades me all the time, and of course, I'm alone without family, as always. And anyhow, what language did I speak then? I don't see myself ever settling for the accepted view of reality. What was I in the last century? I can't imagine myself out of the present. All these immigrants documenting the roads and local wars have gone. Mediocrity is pandemic. So too the masses, material greed and hard science. Fuck the lots. Fuck the lots. Science rightly updates the accepted view of reality. Read New Scientist and American Scientist for poetic fuel. We've biomedical advances on pop. Lou Reed's dead. Monarchy's been put on ice. And we've Google Earth, NASA, cosmography, microbiology, etc. The future's arguably numbers. The offshore money markets, believe me, I know what I'm saying, and even though I can only express myself in poetry and act dumb, I've got an angle on it. I'm bad blood, my bad blood returns. If Revelation's at hand, why doesn't some avatar show like Jesus Christ, John Lennon, or me, Arthur Rimbaud? 300 years on, I'm desperate for truth. I belong to the suppressed since time began, and now here I am on the white Brittany beaches, with cities lighting up in the evening. I've had enough and I'm leaving Europe. Sea air will only scorch my lungs and my skin turn coffee from UV exposure. I want to swim, trample down grass, and above all get stoned, drink liquor as volatile as rocket fuel, just like my ancestors did around fires in altered states. I shall return with sinewy legs, a sun-blackened skin, and a contemptuous look. And so worked out, people will fear me. I will be like a dirty rich tycoon with sex slaves attracted to luxury at a price. I'll be absorbed into politics like other ruthless scum. But for now, I'm getting nowhere and hate my country. I want to get dead drunk and sleep on a moon-colored beach. No one really gets away. I'll try taking to the road again, scaring up everything I've done wrong, all that guilt over my sexuality. It rises to the sky like a rocket plume, beats the shit out of me, knocks me down, drags me along. I know what awaits me though, marching, carrying heavy loads, the desert, boredom and anger, you tell me. I won't do sex for money. What oligarch is to be worshipped? What minister scandalized? How many hearts will I ruthlessly break? Living by lies and kicking through blood as a terrorist. I'd better be lawless. Watch out for that law. Remember the Bobby Fuller song, I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won. I don't want to grow old, and I'd rather know life as a flashpoint of access in my search for some sort of meaning for which I'd do anything. Rimbaud, I'm too self-effacing, too hard on myself, and my charity's like Elvis's, a compensation for guilt. He spooned out diamonds, with me it's words, Even as a child, I admired the hardened convict who was a repeat offender. I hung out in bars and clubs to meet lowlife, and imagined the blue sky, denim blue, cyan, cornflower, and the explosive countryside through his eyes. I sniffed out his path on the bad side of town, and hero worshipped his vagrancy, the fact he was always alone, and to my mind different. On the roads, on winter nights, without shelter or a proper coat or even food, a voice would come to my head. Just take a good look at yourself, like the Smokey Robinson song. You don't know where you're headed or why, so go everywhere, experience everything. If you're already dead, you can't be killed again. In the morning, my look was so wasted and my expression like that of a returned astronaut. I'm sure people I encountered didn't even see me. In big cities, muddy wastelands turned red and black like a red light in a prostitute's window. Keep on going, I was instructed, and I saw a torched rocket plume colour the sky orange, and to left and right, my future exploding through space and time, to freighting rifles as a weapons mule in Abyssinia. But orgies and casual sex with women weren't for me. I was friendless. I saw myself in front of an angry mob facing a firing squad, broken down, protesting, but oddly forgiving them. I tell them like Matahari, tripping in front of her executioners, I'm a brute. I lack all morality. I don't understand laws, and that shooting me's really too easy an escape from other punishments I better deserve. Yup. My eyes are closed to your light. I'm an animal, a nigger, like the proposed title of this book. Back to black, black bongo, bareback, Congo brute. But I can be saved, unlike the rest of you maniacs, hedge funders, cash guzzlers, psychos, shop owners, bailiffs, generals, fucked up oligarchs, autocrats. You're scum, tax evaders, rich like warlords on looted cash. You're a breed inspired by disease and cancer, like invalids and geriatrics, begging for the needle, begging for the needle. It's best to abandon this continent, or take refuge in insanity as a defense, or migrate to the habitable white pods on Mars. I don't know much about nature or myself yet. Words are just sighs. I bury the dead in my stomach. My blood is full of primitive rhythms, dance beats, tribal, primal, black blues. I'm so spellbound. I can't even imagine the time when whites invaded like blue-eyed zombies. Hunger, thirst, sex. My mind stoned on blues, Muddy Waters, Howling Wolf, the Rolling Stones. The whites arrive with guns as firepower, and a religion demanding conversion, when I'd rather dance to the rhythm, I've done no wrong to need be lifted to another level, reviewing old habits like depleted uranium. Religion to a young man's like premature burial. Even if debauchery and vice corrupt, I want to live free of laws, and through that chosen pathway become a child again, playing in paradise and liberated there without guilt of my past. Tell me, are there really other lives, other lives? The rich live behind surveillance cameras and never sleep. Wealth should be equally distributed like public property. Higher love alone is the key to knowledge. Nature's there for us, but indifferent. Ideals, proposals, nothing works for me. I've left broken hearts behind me that won't ever heal. Unknown human love and whatever intense transcendent feeling, if it exists. Are you choosing me from the marginalized? Are not those who are similarly disposed my friends, queers, criminals, the doorway mad? Look after them, whoever you are. I tell myself some days the world is good and there's hope for humanity. Even though there's barriers like old age and death, I've got my shimmering juju and I'm going to make it shine. I'm no longer compelled to hang out or feed on anger, debauchery and madness as part of obstructing the highway like rent. It's time for me to lucidly evaluate the positives and negatives in my moods. I'm no longer attracted to being beaten up in yards and have no vote of confidence in having Keith Richards for my father-in-law. I'm not locked into a pattern of failure. Like everyone, I'm looking for freedom in drugs as a shortcut and don't know how to find in you to reach a point very quickly in which contempt and generosity seem both right in their own way. My country upbringing gives me a purchase on basic common sense. Fuck it up with wild imaginings. I'm not into domestic happiness or social stability. I'm too dissipated, too weird. I'm not even grounded enough to work. My mind flies above action as the center of gravity. I'm turning into a translucent bitch at 20 who is afraid to die. If only I had the courage and belief of saints, yogis, gurus, spiritual avatars, and real artists who live defiantly outside the system. Enough. We know the punishment. Just keep on going. Keep on going. My lungs burn. Too much hashish. My head rocks. My eyes flinch from dazzling sunlight. My heart and legs give up. Where are we going? Where are we going? Into symmetrical combat. I can't maneuver like the others. Weapons, grenades, times. Kill me, or I'll kill myself, motherfuckers, and die under the wheels. I'll get used to dying slowly, slowly, slowly. It's my way, and the French way of life. Naval, Baudelaire, Lautréamont, medals pinned to their cloned bodies. That was written by a boy of 18 or 19, Arthur Rimbaud, and booted up by me into another reality. Now I'm going to read you one more section of this only, and then I'm going to read you a couple of sober poems. So this is someone, anyhow, in the act of saying farewell to poetry at 90. Poetry didn't bring Rimbaud anything other than the moment of creating it. Anyhow, this last section in his terms is called farewell. I've called it That's It. Autumn already. My favourite phrase. And why long for continual sunshine when we're journeying into the bigger lights, way beyond people who die with the changing seasons. Autumn, autumn. Our boat, fogged out by fins of mist, turns towards the harbour's poor quarter. Its off-white city furred by pollution? What of my ruined clothes, rain-drenched bread, breads, all I've got, breads. Drunkenness, the thousand loves who had me anonymously, you tell me. There's something unstoppable about evil, call it malevolent karma, all those millions of dead bodies stacked into a black hole. I see myself again, my skin pitted with dirt and disease, my matted hair and armpits riddled with lice, my heart irreparably broken. Lying in a heap with homeless strangers, I could have died there. And even the memory hurts. I detest poverty now, and I dread winter because people turn to home comforts. But sometimes in the sky, I see endless white beaches populated by new nations. Above me, an object, is it a UFO, stands off in the morning breeze. As a poet, I've created so many alternative highs, possibilities, excesses. Go find them, go find them. I tried also to invent new flowers, new stars, new bodies, new language. I thought I could reinvent every sensory perception, and now who cares? Who cares? I must shut down my imagination and the life that went with it. What a sad end to what I'd hoped for, fame as a one-off poet. And look at me now, no longer lit up by inspired magic, the lawless one exempt from all morality, return to reality through a re-entry, go exploring some pathway where there's nothing special, just anyone, just anyone, just anyone. Am I wrong? Is charity sister death in my case? Well, should I ask to be forgiven for living on the road? Let's get it over with. I lack even one friendly hand, and where can I look for help? Look for help. Yes, living in the modern world is totally exhausting, but in my own way I've won. I've got there, brutal pain, hallucinated fire in my nerves. This going deeper into space, the process is subsiding. All my squalid, degrading memories are receding. My final regrets are on the run. Envy of beggars, bandits, junkies, all sorts of rejects. I'd blow them apart if I turned on them. One must be absolutely modern. One must be absolutely modern. Most modernist on the moment. There's only one way forward. You've got to move on. What a hard night. Dried blood smokes on my face. And there is nothing between me and space but that badly twisted tree. Inner conflict rages like war, and getting above it into some sort of clear is exhausting. Yet this is what it takes to be open to every form of energy and to real friends. And at dawn, prepared by rites of passage, we'll enter a new city, floating architecture blocked in the sky. Why was I talking about helping hand, helping hand. Who needs it? And I've the advantage now of being able to see through lovers who use me up totally, and to piss on deceitful couples. You know, there's a woman's hell down there. I've known the men's, and now I'm at liberty to integrate knowledge of the two into body and soul, into body and soul, body and soul. If you want to buy that book, the black book, there's some copies back there. I'm going to finish by reading you a couple of Soho poems as we're right in the heart in this very magical place.
Published by the Society Club.
Yeah, a book published by the Society Club called Red Light Blues. Anyhow, this is about a friend of mine called Andrea, called My Familiar Junkie. I like this poem. I see her outside Foyles, corner of Manhattan Street, coming at me from 20 light years away in a heroin galaxy. You're wearing makeup, ain't you, love? She quizzes sympathetically. Track marks on one exposed black arm, like a graffiti epitaph, carved out of dependency. She wants change. And I'm vulnerable to exchanging identities, seeing her need in my own true navigable empathy. You in a band, she tries again, knowing I give. It's our routine. A method as it comes on, rain as slow, flashy hexagonals. Give me sugar in my tea, she says, projecting harder now, looking like she's terminal as I dig into crumpled jeans to help facilitate a wrap mainlined into collapsed veins, and give too much of too little as part of our complicity, a street exchange, your make-up love. It really suits you, honey. It really suits you, honey. I'm going to finish with a poem called The Magic Island, which is where I live, writing all day on a magic island. Ginger Light do this track very often in our performances. This is called The Magic Island. It's like a day in my life. Wherever I go, it's mobile. It's my aura, like you see a rainbow smudged like indigo eyeshadow. Stop off and impart it back of a bookshop with friends, or share in little quantum jumps up on a third story. Magic as resource, or call it poetry. Call it poetry. Spontaneous networking of fired up neural chemistry, or a white blob on Titan's northern hemisphere as alien intrusion, shipping a human body up the gravity curve. Don't merit pursuit, but lyric makes it happen. I carry it as dazzle, dazzle, dazzle. Spill it all around me, big as Africa, like I've done Hatton Garden as a jeweler's smash. Got words instead of diamonds to sell on for cash. Thank you.